Hi, welcome back. You're about to see a video of myself and Moses. No, let me stop you there. It's not the guy with the stone tablets and the sandals. It's actually Moses, somebody who comes to Speaker's Corner regularly. Please do pray for him, actually. He's the one wearing the mask. And Abbas, who is just so Abbas. So, it is a debate which covers a few topics. One of the main ones is... oh gosh, what a charming religion, is beating your wife. So please do like, share and subscribe. Please do not beat your wife if you have one. Don't beat anybody's wife or anybody, really. And I will see you after you've liked, shared, subscribed, commented, repented, come to Jesus Christ, etc. And then I'll see you on the other side of this in the comment section and in the live chat. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.
Beat your wife if she refuses sex, if she goes out without your permission.
Refusing sex isn't unchaste.
Oh, imagine
Yeah, if she goes out without your permission or without a good reason, if she neglects her beauty, you know, like she tries to look unattractive, and if she goes out without your permission or without good reason. That is what's called
that
disobeying.
law, did they give any reference of the Quran and Sunnah?
No, it's
No, simple answer is yes or no.
It's a book called fiqh.
I know. Did they give it? Did they give the reference from the Quran and Sunnah? Yes or no?
It's Islamic laws.
Keep saying that, but did they give the reference? Islamic law come from the Quran and Sunnah.
Yeah.
It cannot come from the people because Allah says in chapter 4:59, obey Allah and obey the messengers and the leaders among you. But if you differ among yourself, go back to Allah and the
Maybe
messenger.
no one differs on the reason, the law that he's giving.
Oh, many Muslims
Do you know
differ.
what? Do you know
many
what?
Muslims differ.
Do you know
this
what?
is the opinion of the scholar, and scholars are not infallible.
I'll give you an opinion of a scholar, Ibn Kathir. He says, in the tafsir of the very same verse, he says, the woman, the wife, is not allowed to act above the husband. She's not allowed to
That's quite
ignore the
arbitrary.
husband. She's not allowed to dislike the husband. She's not allowed to disobey the husband. And the Prophet said that if he had asked anybody to worship anybody, it would be the wife of a Muslim man worshipping the man. To such a degree that if the woman refuses to have sex, the angels will curse her until the morning.
There's so many
That's the
different.
tafsir.
So
That's
many.
the tafsir.
I know, but
Ibn Kathir
you bring in
quoted
so
the
many
Sahih
different.
Bukhari.
I know you bring in so many hadiths, bringing back
No,
to.
I'm saying the tafsir.
Okay, I heard you, but you are making a cocktail of many different hadiths. You know, for example,
Okay, I'll stick with one.
worshipping a husband. You know what that hadith is actually about?
Okay, you told me.
It's a long hadith. Hadith is about one of the
It's quite
companions.
short.
One of the companions, cutting it short, one of the companions went somewhere else. He came to the Prophet and he bowed down to him. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I went to the small place and I saw the people are worshipping or bowing down to their lords." Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, do not do that. This is only for Allah. If it was allowed to worship anybody, bow down to anybody, I would have told wives to bow down to their husband for what they do for their wives. But it is not allowed. So that's the long hadith. He didn't say, "I want wives to bow down to husbands." So he's basically saying you shouldn't bow down to anyone. If anybody had a right, it would have been husband. But even though they know as well. So you're making a cocktail of
How
many
does
different
hadith-
hadiths.
How does that hadith
Now,
end? How does it end? It ends with the Prophet saying, for all the rights that he has over her, and for the enormity, of
What husbands do for their wives,
Yeah.
they have the more right, but even they don't as well. Only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was a side reference he was giving. But what
It says prostrate.
okay,
though,
I
doesn't
give
it?
you I give you a verdict of one of the imams, Imam Malik. He said that anyone can be wrong apart from the Prophet, peace be upon him, the human being. You can disagree with anyone apart from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The lesson we learn from that is Ibn Kathir, whatever he said, that is his opinion. We can disagree with that as long if he doesn't back from Sunnah.
Does that include Jesus, Moses? Does it any human being? So any of their writings, you can disagree with those as long as you don't disagree with Muhammad.
If something verifies, Jesus says something, no Muslim should disagree with any prophet.
But
Neither
you
do
can
Muhammad
just say
sallallahu alaihi
it's being corrupted. Like if you
Yes, if we can verify, because it's a word of Moses, then of course we have to follow. For example, there are
Like they're not
Quranic
eating
verses
camel
about
meat.
Moses. Huh?
Like not eating camel meat.
Can I go back to that Hadith?
Sorry, I've just.
Why are you
distracted.
talking about this, guys? It's really
because it's
strange.
speakers
That is from
corner.
last week.
That's not what I mean.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
like, if you're talking about
We're
religious stuff.
continuing. We're continuing the conversation from last week.
All right, cool.
He
I
said-
want to suggest that perhaps maybe we're living in, because you're a Christian, right?
Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't.
He said.
All right, cool.
the
I'm
last
just
week-
like, I thought you'd be
no,
more concerned
no,
about your
no.
prophecies and about what's happening in the world today than this
We
mindless
can come
bickering.
to them.
You know what I mean?
But we're
wait, wait,
continuing.
This is just
wait.
self-destructive.
You don't have to
Right.
listen to this.
No, I don't have to. I'm just making a
No,
suggestion.
he made
If
he
you-
made a suggestion last week.
I would say maybe
He made a
stuff in the
suggestion
world
that
is more
434
significant than
he
No,
made a
the things of
suggestion-
this world are
he made a
unimportant
suggestion
compared
last
to
week.
the
Yeah, I
eternal
mean,
world.
We can get to
That's
that
what
later.
I'm
We can get to that
talking
later.
about.
Whatever is
But
happening
he
in
made
the
a
world right
suggestion
now
last week.
is nothing more than what is going to be in the hereafter. This life is very temporary life. So
It's
we
more important to bicker over tiny little differences.
No,
with
We're
That's
not
all.
bickering, we're
Wait, wait, wait,
discussing
wait,
them.
wait,
We're bickering
wait,
with
wait.
you,
It's
but
mindless.
we're
You come
discussing.
here
mindless.
to a debate that you don't need
Okay,
to
well,
be at.
Oh,
and
sure.
then
Come on over
you don't even
there.
know what we're talking about exactly.
Ah, be
and you
listening.
say we're bickering.
Aye, because you are.
You don't okay, what are...
You're trying to convince
so what
him
the
that he's
cause
wrong,
is?
and you're trying to convince him that he's wrong.
I'm not,
for what
trying to
reason?
convince you
No,
he's
we're
wrong.
discussing
I'm trying to,
Hadith and
I'm trying to
Tafsir.
clarify
It's called
what he said
dialectic.
from last week. He said last week that the wives only get beaten if they're unchaste.
And that's of this world,
And he
because
said that
women
they
are
don't
being
get
beaten to
beaten.
death in
He said
some
that you just have to
countries.
tap them. Now we're clarifying if that is true or not.
Sure.
And then we can move on to something
and
else.
I showed you from the Sahih Hadith, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says a strike. First of all, the woman has to be unchaste. It's not like any wife who's not
you
cooking
just
for you.
fear inchastity.
No,
You
I
fear it.
told
From
you.
those whom you
I
fear
told you according
rebellion.
to Quran that word fear here means
Absolute knowledge.
absolute. Yes, because chapter 4.
I wasn't convinced of that.
I can show you.
No, I've
I
heard
can
your
show you the verses
reasoning
from the
last week,
Quran.
but I don't
Quran,
accept
you
it.
must understand
Who's giving you this
holistically.
opinion?
I'm sorry, not holistically. Holistically. You need to understand what other verses are talking about
I've
this.
got what you're saying,
you can't
but
just
you
pick
brought
and
one
choose
verse.
one
I'm
word.
sure the word fear is.
I can show you another verse. I can
Who's
show you
giving you
another
this
verse about the
opinion?
Well,
fear.
then why didn't Allah say, from those who you are absolutely certain of rebellion? He didn't say that. He said, from those you fear. So that gives you license to accuse without.
Those who have a knowledge of Arabic
Yep.
and those people who living in that time, they exactly understood what this Quran is saying. The fear here doesn't mean just doubt, meaning of fear of certainty, meaning you are sure this is happening.
I've never
And
heard
look,
the word fear being used as a synonym to
well,
certainty.
that's the English language. That's in English language.
So then it's a poor
that's where
translation
the
then.
most closest word
So
is.
the Islamic scholars who are Arabic speakers primarily have a poor translation into English.
No, because every word in
It's not
different.
English that's
no,
at fault.
every word in the English language does not apply. You can't translation is not always 100%.
You can have
you
irrational
can do
fear.
translation.
Can I
and
just
you can
clarify
have
your
a
point?
sure fear.
You're saying that you're only allowed to hit the woman if she's unchaste, yeah? And then you said that when you hit the woman, you're not supposed to inflict any
No
pain.
mark,
Are you
no mark, no injury.
Are you supposed to inflict pain?
Like a domestic abuser would, you mean?
Are you-
Like
Well,
no
hang on,
marks,
If
no
the
injuries.
pain could have leave a mark. So you need to be so careful that make sure there should be no more than tap of the wrist, tap on the wrist.
But why do
because,
that at the end?
Because I give you example. The women's bodies are generally, if you hit a little bit harder, you can leave a mark. So that's why Allah says no leave mark, no injury. But understand one thing. There are 3 stages. You are advising your wife. She's not listening to your advice. Meaning, she's resisting. She's resisting it.
Well,
She
it
say no.
sense.
She say no. I'm not going to. You are a husband. Then you separating the bed. She's still not getting the message.
She's
now,
happy days.
now in the wisdom of God, if to save a marriage, a slap of on the wrist can save your marriage,
But
then
divorce
it's
isn't
wise
frowned
to
upon.
then
Sorry.
then it is wise to do that.
Me like that.
Sorry.
Divorce.
Oh yeah.
Then it is wise. Then it is wise to save for the greater good, the smaller evil, if you want to call it, to save the marriage. If that saves the marriage, I think that's worth it. But you don't have to.
I'm going to clarify your point with pain. Okay, let's say us two are married together, yeah? Right? She does something really bad, yeah? Like she goes out and she dresses how she wants. She said for the women to dress how she wants. And then yeah? And then she still dresses how she wants. Then I separate from the bed. She still dresses how she wants.
She's not.
And then-
She's not listening. She's not getting the message.
And then I tap her.
You know
And then I
me.
tap her and I don't inflict any pain.
Or
I don't inflict
injury.
any injury. What stops her from
What happened?
going out as she wants?
You're showing the veracity of the situation. She's not getting the message. So you're saying, look, I really mean that. what are you doing?
Oh,
I mean,
that was a bit harder than a
No, but
little
she
tap.
might inflict, and I might inflict
well,
pain.
yeah. If that can,
A
for example, I give you the other day. The
Am I allowed to inflict pain?
No.
I'm not
A
allowed to inflict
stinging
pain.
pain.
Well,
not allowed to inflict
well,
pain.
the verse says no mark, no injury. Sorry, Hadith says no mark, no
doesn't say
injury.
no
Forget-
pain.
No,
forget
no,
about that.
yeah.
Am I
It
allowed
doesn't
to
say no
inflict
pain,
pain?
but no injury,
Am I allowed to
no
inflict
injury,
Yes.
no injury, no mark.
Am I allowed
So
to
if that
inflict pain?
that pain which not going to leave any mark, yes, that is allowed. That,
So
yeah.
I'm allowed to inflict pain on my wife.
As long as it doesn't leave the mark. So you need to be
Okay.
judged of what kind of a hit doesn't leave mark on her body,
Okay.
and that is only to save your marriage.
Okay, and what if you misjudge it? What if you're
You done sin in the eyes of
do you,
God.
and do you get any temporal
according to your
punishment?
knowledge.
Sorry, do you get any
then she
punishment
can
in this
take
world?
you. Then she can take you to the court, Islamic court, for abusing you.
Not according to
For
the-
abusing.
not
Islam,
And have to have
no,
witnesses,
Islamic court
probably.
in the Sharia, you're not allowed to abuse anybody.
Does she need witnesses
You
for
know that
that?
Kotibi's verse? You know
Does she,
that,
sorry,
you know that-
does she need
That's for the
witnesses?
rape. That's for the rape.
No, but I'm asking. So for
No, she
domestic
doesn't.
abuse,
She doesn't.
no. Okay.
No witness. You know that Kotibi said of that verse? He says that if you hit your wife, he said, try not to hit your wife, but if you hit her and she dies, it's not a crime.
I'm not laughing. Sorry.
What?
It's not a crime.
Could be say that. I like to see that.
Okay.
I like to see that.
And-
Really, I'm
okay.
sorry, but I'm not going to take your word for it.
Okay. You know that Umar said a man should not be asked why he beat his wife. You know that?
Right?
Umar, when he was beating his wife, he said a man should not be asked why.
Umar
he
is
beat
not a
his wife.
prophet. You know?
Okay.
You know that Allah says
Okay.
obey Allah and obey the
Okay.
messenger, not
Okay.
obey Umar.
Okay.
Remember that.
You do realize that in the
He
Hadith.
said all your leaders.
No, but
Yes, but
no,
they say if you
And Umar.
disagree with
Okay.
them, but same
Okay.
verse say if you disagree with them,
Okay.
come back to
Okay.
Allah and Muhammad,
Okay.
not Umar.
Okay, how do you explain the hadith where the man beat his wife so bad that she turned green, and the Prophet never asked the man if he warned her if he separated from
Well,
his
the
bed?
man answer was, she's lying.
Oh, okay.
She
Yeah.
just turned green
No,
by
no, no.
herself.
Yeah, because the woman says because she want to go back to her first husband. So the man, what the man answer was, she's lying. So
She
it
turned
was
green.
her word against his
How
word.
did she
so,
produce the bruises?
Well, probably she wanted to get divorced from him, so she just make a
So she
case.
hit herself,
and
did she?
Look, remember that hadith.
she got the first husband to do
Hadith,
it.
well, you see, that hadith is ambiguous. That
Okay.
he beat her or not beat her, it was her word
It's only
against.
his word
But
and
Muhammad
he's a
says
sinner.
the other hadith is Sahih hadith. We say you should not leave any mark.
Exactly. So he
and
broke that. Okay, so the guy whose wife was green
From the
would
beating.
be more likely to lie and deny it because he's left a mark. So therefore, he's not within
But
the
then
scope
again,
of
it's
permission.
her word against his word.
It
and
always
there need
is.
to be a witness there. So he
There
clearly.
does need to be a witness for domestic abuse.
No, there
then.
doesn't.
There doesn't need to be.
No,
a
but
witness.
yeah, no, you need to be witness of.
Oh, there
yeah.
does.
So why did Aisha say that he's seen none suffer as much as they believe in women after that particular story?
They had no
it's the same with
witnesses.
you. No,
Yeah.
what suffer means here.
no,
Suffer,
in terms- no, but
suffer
she-
means they have
No
a
pain or injury.
they have
No,
a
she said it after that
they
story.
have a limit
After the
of
green
they have a
chest.
limit of liberty like other women are. So suffer doesn't always mean pain, or it could be
Yes,
just
I'm
your
sorry,
liberty.
it does.
You are
No,
limited in your
English,
liberty.
suffering
But in the
means
context,
you've
obviously,
experienced
because she
hardship
said
or
that
pain.
after Muhammad told the wife who husband beat her that she turned green, Muhammad told her Muhammad said that she should return back to her husband. That's
Not
when Aisha
divorce
said.
him.
Aisha said she's seen none suffer as much as they believe in women.
He said return back to her husband. He doesn't look. What he said is if she want a divorce from him, she has to fulfill the marriage,
But she has to go back to
which
her
is
husband.
sex.
In
If
which
she wants
way?
to go back
She
to
has
the
to go have sex with him.
no, if she want to go back to the first husband. Remember, Islamic ruling is this:
But they
if you
weren't
if you if
newly
you, if
married,
you die,
surely.
if you want to go back to your
That he never
He never
warned the
said
man. He never told the
leave
man,
her.
did you?
No,
did
that's
you
what
warn
So
her?"
she-
he's giving tacit approval to that behaviour because he hasn't
The
advised
guy-
her.
Yes.
The
Stay
guy-
with your sister and let's all sort it out in a
the
minute.
guy
get some
completely
witnesses.
refused it. He said she's lying.
Okay, and
That
she
was
says
her
no,
word.
I'm not.
Her
Okay?
word against his word.
But she says
So
no,
how
I'm not.
how he's going to judge?
Because she turned green.
Because
He's
he
the prophet of God. How does he
because,
not know?
Because he can see. But if Jesus cannot see the fig tree has a fig on it,
No,
of-
but-
No,
of-
Jesus
of-
can.
of
Jesus
season.
Don't
does
divert, don't
see
divert.
No, he
somebody
doesn't.
sitting under the
Don't
tree when he's
divert,
not there. Yes,
don't
he
No, he
does.
didn't.
Yes, he did.
He
Don't
went
divert,
to the
divert
fig
it,
tree.
don't
Mark
divert it.
said
I'm not talking
it
about
was
that
not
verse.
the,
Anyway,
so
we're
if
not
you're talking about the
diverting. We're not
knowledge of
diverting.
prophet,
No, but the point
if
of the
Jesus
matter-
doesn't know,
Jesus
no,
knew
he didn't.
things
No,
that
but the
were
point
not
of the
in
matter-
front of him.
the point of
I
the
can
matter-
prove it to you. Shall we
Surely,
read the
No,
verse?
I'll find the one I'm talking about. Carry on.
surely the point is that he never said to the man, did you warn her, did you separate from the bed? He never said that. He just he just told the woman to return back to the guy.
No. You see, you misjudging again. The verse says about the separating the bed about the loose woman. Here is no case, the man is not making a case that she's a loose woman or not. It's not like any wife you can separate the bed or beat or whatever. It's about the loose woman. So here, nothing to do with whether she's loose or not. She just wants to go back to the first husband. Yes, so she probably is making all the excuses. She done something to her. So Prophet would say, oh, he's abusing, so divorce. So he say, I didn't do it. She's lying. So Prophet, how he's going to judge? What to say?
He's the prophet of God. How does he not know?
If you fear disobedience and it ends off, you stop beating them when they return to obedience.
4:34.
4:34, the verse of beating the wives.
What it says?
It starts off saying if you fear. It starts off first of all, it says men are superior, men are maintained. The part to do with violence, it says if you fear disobedience, you beat until she returns to disobedience. The chase part is before that. So
no, the same context.
No.
Okay, let's read the verse.
Yes, let's read the verse.
By the way, it's John 1:43-51, the fig tree.
No, that's another one.
That's what I was talking about.
But there are two. One is talking about children of Israel. Fig tree.
No. I was just saying that Jesus can know things that are not visibly. It's not if Muhammad can't judge who's lying between a man and a woman, and he's a true prophet.
I'll prove
Okay,
that Jesus
sorry.
didn't have any clue about the fig tree. Let's read.
This is my point. Before
Chapter
you read
4,
the
verse
verse,
34.
it starts off by saying men are in charge of women because they have more power and we give them money.
No, what Allah has given them.
The good woman is chaste. But if you even fear disobedience, you should beat until she's obedient again.
Men are in charge of women
Okay.
by what Allah has given one over the other,
Yes.
and what they spend. I'm not reading in a parenthesis. From their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in absence what Allah would have them guard.
Okay.
This is what I was talking about. To understand what it means, a guarding meaning, you have to go back to chapter 33, verse 35. When it says the chaste men are chaste and guarding, and the women are also guarding. I'm just paraphrasing it. That's what we talk about the chastity, meaning they are not being vulgar or loose.
Okay.
So, what Allah would have them guard. But those from whom you fear arrogance of what? Arrogance of that they are not chaste. They are not. They are rejecting to be chaste. If you fear arrogance, and fear here you need to understand. Chapter 4, verse 128 says, the women, if they fear their husband not being good to them, they can go to the judge for their settlement. So the fear here meaning a surety, something is happening. Now the husband, you want me to keep on reading or? Yeah. Okay. So if you fear arrogance, advise them. Arrogance of what they are resisting to be chaste. Advise them. It's only fair thing to say. Advise, please don't do that. So if it doesn't work, of course, then it says the next step is forsake them in the bed. She's still not listening. She's not still understanding. Then he says, strike them. So what kind of a woman?
And what's the end after that?
Strike them. But if they obey you, seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted.
So what if they're not obeying you?
Even after you've beaten them.
If they're not obeying it, there's no more.
No, as you're hitting her, what if I'm hitting her and she's resisting or she's fighting back?
Yeah, then is the divorce, of course.
No, you beat her until she returns to obedience. That's what it says.
No, but you understand what strike means?
What does the end say?
Strike
It says you beat
until
her.
something.
The end is a crucial point.
No,
it says
strike them.
you stop beating them when they return to obedience.
No, it doesn't say that. It says
what's the
strike
end?
them.
Until.
But if it didn't say until.
Okay,
It didn't say until.
But if they
It says
return,
strike them.
Okay.
But if they obey you,
they obey you.
seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is
They
ever
don't
exalted in
obey
mind.
you.
Okay,
Seek means
so what if I'm
against
hitting her? And she's not obeying me? She's resisted.
Then you divorce her.
No, but
because these are the three
But
steps.
it says you should beat until she returns.
It didn't say until. Why you
Okay.
keep
You've
putting
got a
word
different
into it until? It didn't
I'm
say
thinking
until.
about my verse, and I'm thinking of the one I've got at home.
Maybe
But the one you got
if
here.
you read the commentary, then the
when do
commentary
you
might
stop beating
explain.
her? When do you stop beating her? When she returns to obedience.
But do you understand what beating here means?
No.
No
What does the
injury,
end say?
no mark.
And
So
no
you
pain.
can
No
maybe
pain.
tap on the wrist for the rest of the.
But
It doesn't.
is there
it does-
pain?
So
Is there pain?
There can be pain.
Are you allowed to inflict pain on your wife?
if it says no living mark, then I would say what kind of a pain that would be, because the pain could be that is the pain as well, but it's not living mark.
So there's no pain.
So yes, I mean hitting which is not living mark. It's not like beating like a mad person. So
Are you allowed to inflict pain when you're beaten?
It doesn't mention it, so yes.
it doesn't mention, of course.
So yes.
Look, this can pain as well. There's a
Yep.
pain have levels. So
I could smack
yeah,
you to
so
it.
slap on the,
Leave a mark
but
on
as
that.
long as you don't leave a mark. So imagine a woman body is much more delicate in a way, leave mark easily. I mean, I hold my wife's wrist the other day, just let's go, darling, taking her, which is moving, and she said, you hurt me. I didn't mean to hurt that, and actually that left mark on her. Later on, she said there was a bruise there. Even though I would just say, come on, darling, let's go. So so a man has to be so careful not leaving mark. So you need to understand you should not be anything harder.
Okay.
And the wisdom behind it is
Okay.
to save the marriage.
Okay.
If that can save the marriage,
Okay.
then in a bigger picture, it's a good thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, for the greater good. But what I'm saying is, you can divorce. These are 3 steps, and then you divorce.
Okay, so I think we should bring this to an end, but let's just bring it to an end by clarifying your point. I'm married to
Okay.
Faye here. I don't know your name. She's done something really bad.
You better, otherwise this divorce time.
I'll just beat you until you the video. And she does something so bad. So I tell her off, and she continues to do it.
Well, I said advise her, not tell her off.
Advise her. Please don't do it. She does it.
Yeah.
Then
She should listen to you, and if she's a good woman, she should listen to you.
Okay.
But
Why?
if
Okay.
You might be talking
All right.
rubbish.
And then I.
just telling you to be
And then I separate
decent.
from the bed. And then I separate from the bed. And then she continues to do it. And then
That means, something's not right there.
Okay. And
What?
then.
What, a sex
And
god?
then.
If
no,
he banishes
no,
me
no,
to...
no. I just want to get his point clear.
Sorry.
I just wanna get your
Don't
point
be
clear.
loose. I mean, what's wrong with that?
There's
Good.
nothing wrong with that, but it's
Point
your
clear.
definition of
Okay,
loose.
I warned her I'm separate from the bed, and she's still doing it.
It's a Quranic definition, by the way.
Exactly.
So I touch her, I don't break anything, I don't hurt anything, and I don't inflict any pain, and she gets the message. Does that make sense?
If
to
she
you?
doesn't get the message, then divorce.
No, but at
Understanding
the end,
is that
I just
these are
touch
the
her,
steps.
and I make sure that I touch it in such a way that it doesn't hurt her in any way.
Don't leave mark.
It doesn't leave any marks. I don't break anything, but she gets the point, and she and she comes back to obedience.
Yeah, it can happen.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yes, it does. I tell you why.
Let's end it.
I tell you why. No.
Let's end it.
I tell you
No,
why.
no, end it there.
Sometimes
End it
you
there.
look.
Does that make
No,
sense to you?
no, it does. I tell
A
you
tap
why.
has never...
I tell you why.
She could think it's foreplay.
I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one example, and tell me if you're honest, you understand or not. Of somebody could be in a rage. Friends are together in a rage, and one is just keep shouting. And he's saying, "John, stop it!" And he's not stopping. He's shouting on his face, no. And then suddenly, John. And then suddenly, somebody just wake up and say, he really, and come back to senses. Sometimes little physical tap can bring somebody in senses who's in rage. He's not listening to you. It can happen. You can't deny that. So this is exactly what it means.
But it
The woman
seems
is
less
just really
severe
not
than
in
the
her
other
senses.
thing.
But if I tap him like that, and he still goes against me,
Then you say,
Slap
go to
it.
hell. Friends can leave sometimes as well. That sometimes physical contact can show somebody
in the
that he
context of the
really
Quran-
mean that.
But in the context of the Quran, he has to obey me.
But if he doesn't, then leave it. Divorce. Finish. Done, dusted. That's why you're not getting the point. These 3 steps and then divorce.
But the Quran
There's no
verse,
more 4
But
steps.
the Quran verse says that he has to obey me.
No, you didn't say that. If she obey you, then do
It
not.
says, if you fear disobedience, yeah.
Only
We already talked
Only
about
fear.
what fear
No,
means.
no, but in that
But
context,
you said it, I haven't read it
no,
somewhere else.
and in that context, if I hit John and he doesn't obey me, I can hit him again until he obeys me. In the context of this,
If he comes to his senses, then not. But that leaves
Yeah.
open the question of if he doesn't,
Then I can
you've
just
got all of
continue.
those
No,
steps that you're...
it doesn't mean that. It means
How-
these are the
why-
3
why give
steps,
potentiality?
and then you leave. Then
when do
you
you stop the hitting?
When you feel like
When
it.
the person stops being disobedient.
even if he hit you 100 times here and doesn't leave any mark,
You can carry on.
then the saved marriage,
For all time.
yeah. But in a common sense, if it doesn't work, then you divorce. These are the 3 steps. You're not going to live with that woman because she's not getting the point. So one thing we need to understand: hitting doesn't mean here like some people say hitting meaning really harming a person. It's not that. It's a strike, which like I show you the hadith. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam strike his companion. Why? As a congratulation. Same thing. He strike in his chest. May Allah give you more knowledge of Quran. While when he answered him, so that was strike mean. It doesn't mean harming or
the
like people say.
The word is the daraba.
Yeah.
The word in the poor people is daraba.
That's right.
And that's used in a hadith to do
Oh, didn't I show you the other day?
to do with taming wild animals.
Didn't I show you the hadith the other day?
No, but the word is to do with taming wild animals.
I don't think you read
Well,
this. I think
women are domesticated
I'll show you the
animals
hadith.
anyway.
That's fair. Well said.
I'll show you the hadith then. Didn't I show you that? You want me to show you the hadith?
I think he's talking
And I want to
about
bring this to an end. And I want to bring this to an end. Do you have a tafsir or scholar
says
that
fear
is
means
the point you
knowledge.
just made?
I have the hadith.
But
so
do you have a
that's
tafsir?
I have the hadith.
But do you have a tafsir?
No, I have the hadith. Hadith is above the tafsir,
Okay,
brother.
but
You need
you
to understand the
are
point.
But there's scholars
Sahih
who
hadith
are-
goes above any tafsir because you know tafsir is understanding of the scholar and the commentary of the scholar, and sometimes scholars,
Exactly,
you know,
there's
they
scholars
disagree
for a
with each other.
reason.
You're on record of saying that you don't trust the hadiths.
I said that.
Yeah, you said that some hadiths you can follow, even if they're sahih, and some you can't, because you said that.
My yardstick, I always say, is the Quran.
Yeah.
If any hadith
Yeah.
goes against the
Yeah.
spirit of the Quran,
Yeah.
what I'm going to take? I'm going to take
Yeah.
Quran. So Quran is number one.
Yeah.
Then Mutawatir Sahih Hadith is
Okay.
number two.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then Ijma of the scholars. Ijma, consensus of the scholars. Number three.
Okay.
Then come tafsir or anything else.
Okay.
But
So
the
these
spirit
are
of-
the steps.
But the
Is this to
spirit-
do with
hold on,
Sahih hadiths
sorry,
as
sorry.
well?
I'm just tapping you lightly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the spirit of the Quran is not the letter of the Quran. Because anybody can say, well, through this book, I've read this book, and I believe that the spirit of it is X, Y, and Z. And somebody else, another scholar or another layman, can come along and say, well, actually, I don't get that vibe, what I think he means. And that's why you have tafsir, because it's not the clear and concise word of Allah, it's open to interpretation, as in fear can mean knowledge, or knowledge can mean like.
Also, at the same time, the tafsir of Ibn Kathir doesn't go against the spirit of that verse. Where Ibn Kathir says
It wasn't in the hadith. Sahih
no,
hadith.
it doesn't go against the spirit of the verse.
Sahih hadith says don't.
Because
Quran,
it
it
says,
doesn't
go
it
against
says
the
that
Quran.
I'm married to Faye. She's not
Okay.
allowed. Sorry, I keep calling you Faye.
We're
Faye.
married, you know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, well, and it's only been a few years.
A few
you know.
minutes.
No, I'm married to her. According to Ibn Kathir, she's not allowed to dislike me. She's not allowed to ignore
Ibn
me.
Kathir can just get on with it.
She's not allowed to disobey me. Yeah, and she's not allowed to
Dress the way I want to.
and she's not allowed to act above me. Yeah? That's with the spirit of the Quran. If she does any of those things, I can beat her until she
me show you-
returns to obedience.
Let me show you hadith. I think I showed you hadith last time, didn't I?
Yeah.
About daraba. It's just so
Is
clear.
it used in another verse to do with taming wild animals?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? In another verse.
I never read that.
What to
I
do-
heard people saying that and non-Muslims saying
Yeah.
that. I never heard that. Show me. Show me the proof, then we'll talk about it. If I'm going to show you the hadith.
No, because I think that this is what happens. Muslims don't even agree. The scholars don't even agree on the hadith.
Brother, I'm showing
You don't agree.
I'm showing
When
you
the hadith serves your purpose, you like it. But when another hadith contradicts
You
this
know,
hadith, you're not going to
anybody
like
can read
it.
Arabic here?
Hadith about
Anybody can read
Quran.
Arabic here? Arabic? Nobody can read Arabic here?
Are you being facetious?
No, daraba. No, the word daraba. Word daraba.
You wanna have a look?
Because I don't want you to just believe what I'm telling you. The hadith says for daraba.
Okay.
Have you got it in English?
And I've seen
Yes, I
another
got English.
hadith.
And English says strike. Now the hadith is this.
But I've
Let me
seen
read.
another hadith.
Sahih Muslim, hadith number 810. Hadith is Ubay bin Ka'b, a very knowledgeable guy he was, one of the four picked one. Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "O Abu al-Mundir, do you know the verse from the Quran of which Allah according to you is the greatest?" Asking him,
Yeah,
do you know which is the greatest verse?
This last week, yeah.
I said, Allah and His Apostle know best. He again said, O Abu al-Mundir, do you know the verse from the book of Allah, which according to you is the greatest? I said, Allah, there is no God, talking about chapter 2, verse 255, Ayatul Kursi. He told him, I gave him the answer. Thereupon, he struck me on my breast. Yeah? Same word, fadaraba. Me best, and said, may knowledge be pleasant for you, O Abu al-Mundir. Like this. Daraba. So daraba here doesn't mean he hurt him. Was he angry?
Wait.
He was acknowledging him.
Wait, stop a second. Does it say? Did he say that it hurt him?
No, it doesn't say
So
hurt.
we don't know if it hurt him or not.
No, the word is daraba.
No, but we don't know if it inflicted pain. For all we know, yeah, he was bleeding. He was on the floor. He was in pain. He went home to his wife. We don't know the conditions
You
of the man,
understand
though.
the context here? He daraba.
Yeah.
He struck him.
Yeah, and how did he
It's the
feel?
same word in the Quran.
Yeah, but-
strike your
Yeah,
wife.
yeah.
Meaning, with what
Okay. Struck
intensity?
the man.
What intensity of striking
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the same as the guy says,
Okay.
may Allah give
Okay.
you more knowledge.
Okay.
So what's
Okay.
wrong with that?
Okay, how did the
Same
man-
to say, you're telling your wife,
Okay. But
Come on.
It doesn't say what the effect of the strike was.
he was a man, it doesn't hurt him at all.
How do you know this?
Because
now, what if there's
because
another verse?
he's
What if
quoting
there's another
he's
verse?
quoting the hadith.
What if there's another verse to do with the same word used to tame wild animals?
Okay, show me.
No,
No, I'm
if
not
I show
going.
you,
I'm no.
you're not gonna
There is no,
accept it.
brother. There is no
Because
ifs. There's no ifs and
unknown-
buts. You need to
No,
show
but
me.
You are known.
I just show you my
You
proof.
are known as a
You see, this is
person
what it is.
who rejects Sahih Hadith.
Okay, I think he's probably he's completely in denial.
Okay.
Let's come back to
Are you allowed
Jesus
to reject?
and the fig tree.
Just one question.
I think we're
husband
done.
just wants
I
to talk
made
to you
my
a bit
point.
further.
I think I made my
Just one
point.
question and I'm done. Can you reject Sahih Hadith?
Yes, you can.
So what's the point?
You know, they know. I'll tell you.
You're just gonna reject
Any because you know why? No, you know why? I tell you why. Because this hadith is Quran is completely perfect, infallible, no doubt as a Muslim, completely. Hadiths are not. Why? I have read myself hadiths contradict with each other, and they are both sahih.
Okay.
And
what does
I
sahih
can show
mean?
you some hadiths.
What does
Actually,
sahih mean?
they, yeah?
What does that mean?
But who says that's sahih?
But
Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or Allah?
But
All
Muhammad is
scholars.
infallible.
No, yes. Not the scholars saying that. So what are scholars?
the scholars agree with
Brother, what
Sahih.
are scholars? Are scholars infallible?
That's not
No,
the
but
point.
Muhammad
That is the point,
If
exactly.
there are two hadith that contradict, and
Brother,
they're both from
brother.
Muhammad, that means Muhammad contradicted himself.
No, that
well,
means
abrogation is a thing. It's not terrible.
That means those people who are
Reporting it.
who are
Through the
reporting the
chain of
hadith,
Sahih
they made error
narration.
somewhere because we know the
Okay.
So
Prophet
why is it
is
Sahih?
guided by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala,
Why is it-
and
why is it not
I can tell you something. I can
Which
tell you something.
which scholar agrees that you can reject Sahih Hadith?
Oh, many scholars.
Like what? Like who?
Albani, Sheikh Albani, one of the greatest
Okay,
muhaddis. You know what he did?
Okay, he admits that he
Read,
can
read.
reject
Not
Sahih
only
Hadith.
admit, he picked from hadith from Bukhari and Muslim, and he said these are not sahih,
Yeah.
these are weak hadiths.
Okay.
He himself,
Okay.
one of the greatest
Okay.
hadith scholar of the last century.
Okay.
Many people, you know,
Can you reject Sahih Bukhari?
he did.
No,
Sheikh
but
Albani
can you-
did. Who
but
I
can you
am.
do that and still be a Muslim? Can you do that and still be a Muslim?
If she,
He's
oh,
still a
Sheikh Albani,
Muslim.
yeah, of course you can.
Sahih Bukhari, yeah, he got rid of 98% of the hadith.
There you go. So he's the first one who rejected the hadith.
No.
He was-
no. I said he rejected
No.
it, and his book only has 2%. So all that work he did all that work for over 20 years, and someone like you comes along and just rejects it.
You know what? You're making my point for me.
Okay.
You're just saying the Sahih Imam Bukhari was one of the earliest people who rejected hadith.
No, he never rejected his hadiths. He rejected other people's hadiths.
No, he-
and then it became
no.
Sahih.
He
Bukhari.
collected
He
hadiths.
kept only the
No,
book.
no,
that
because
was
in his
Those
judgment,
that had been thoroughly
he collected
vetted.
the hadith.
Yeah,
he collected.
and he
from-
rejected the ones he
you
didn't
know,
want.
which he thought cannot be right. He rejected it.
Yeah,
Even though
because
people,
the chain generation.
even the people say this is the hadith of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but he thought it was not. Meaning, as a human being, a person,
Yeah.
if something is clear to you, something is not right, you can reject it.
Yeah.
So even what I'm saying, Imam Bukhari,
Yeah.
even though he done his best,
Yeah.
but of course he as a human being, he made some errors.
He
too.
rejected it because of the chain of narrations. Because he only accepted the ones where the chain of narrations were absolutely solid. So everything he kept, that's why he's held as the best. Because he kept only those that could be trusted by the chain of
Okay,
narrations.
what do you say about
Yeah.
Sheikh Albani? He was a great scholar, yes?
Well,
No. What do you say? Open right now
no, I don't
and
need to
see
do
by
that. No, I don't need to do
Sheikh
that.
Albani
I don't need to
rejecting
do that.
Imam Bukhari.
I don't need to do that. I'll tell you why I don't need to
No,
do that.
because he knows more than you
I'll
and
tell
me.
No, I'll tell you why I don't need to do that. Because Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim are universally trusted amongst Sunni Muslims. As
So
trusted.
Sheikh Albani didn't know that.
Not compared to them. Not compared to them. And you have to accept that
So you
Sahih Bukhari and Sahih
So
Muslim.
Sheikh Albani as a scholar of hadith,
Yeah.
he's saying these hadiths are weak hadiths.
No, I'm saying he's a good. He may be a good sheikh, but he's not at the level of Bukhari and Muslim, and you know this. No, you actually know
the point
this.
here is that even Imam Bukhari and Muslims, they
Yeah.
were very sincere in collecting, but
Yeah.
even they made error as
Okay,
well.
okay.
You know, like Jalalain, disagree
No,
with him.
Jalalain,
No,
forget what they are.
Jalalain was a
No, I'm not
mufassir.
going to let you divert.
I'm not.
Sahih
I'm saying the
Bukhari-
scholars can be right and wrong
Okay,
as well.
okay,
So scholars disagree with each
Okay,
other.
okay.
So what I'm saying is, we believe Allah is infallible,
Okay.
and His Prophet, guided by Allah,
Okay.
divine knowledge, is infallible in many ways.
Okay.
But other than them,
Yeah.
you can disagree with anyone if you find them wrong.
Does Sahih mean Sahih then?
Imam Malik says that. I have to quote you. Imam Malik says that you can disagree with any human being apart from Muhammad Sallallahu
Does
Alaihi Wasallam.
Sahih mean Sahih then?
According to who? Sahih
No,
who?
but
According to human beings.
If the book is called Sahih Bukhari and you can reject Sahih Bukhari, yeah, then the book itself can't be called Sahih Bukhari because you can
No,
reject.
you're missing
you
the
can
point.
reject Verses.
If Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says there's going to be a book called Sahih Bukhari and that's Sahih. If he would have said that, then it's for us binding abiding that we must follow that. But he didn't say that. It's the people, and the scholar says this in their opinion. But there comes Sheikh Albani, one of the greatest muhaddis. He says no, even Bukhari and Muslim have weak hadith. So he rejected it. The point here is that even Bukhari and Muslim can be wrong as well, and there are contradicting hadiths in Imam Bukhari, in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. What that means? They both can't be right.
Okay, so Sahih doesn't mean Sahih then?
I don't know what you
No, I mean, if you can reject...
I'm telling you, it's a human being saying that Sahih.
If you can reject hadiths that are called authentic or true...
By who?
The book is called Sahih Bukhari.
You're not getting the point. Who says it's Sahih?
The Muslims... the Muslim ulama.
Fallible human beings.
ulama.
Fallible human beings.
Muslim ulama.
No, fallible human beings. Muslim ulamas
consensus amongst the scholars.
Muslim ulamas are also not infallible.
But the consensus amongst the scholars for all these years...
It is not complete consensus. It's not. Because many 10 to 15% of Shias of the world, they reject all these hadiths. Meaning
the general consensus
of
the majority of the scholars, especially on the Sunni side, is that Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim
obviously it's not
are
general
trusted
consensus.
Amongst the
Because
Sunnis.
Sheikh Albani,
Amongst
one
the
of the great
Sunnis.
scholars, he's rejecting the hadith.
Yeah.
And there are many other,
Okay.
what's his name, Pakistani muhaddis, one of the great muhaddis as well. He also rejects many of Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari.
So if the sheikhs reject Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim,
They have to have a reason.
If one or two sheikhs from somewhere reject Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim,
More than one.
Yeah. Okay. If a couple of them reject Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim, then are the other Muslims supposed to follow Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, or these few people who rejected it?
No, we need to use our knowledge, common sense as well. Anything goes against the spirit of the Quran and the history, fact of science, then there can't be correct hadith.
Okay.
So we can reject that on a common sense level.
Every individual Muslim can choose which ones to reject and which ones to accept.
No, it's not like that. It's not
Okay.
like that. You can debate about that, and
Okay.
you can give your reasons why I'm rejecting that. That's
Okay.
going against the Quran.
Okay.
So there are reasons you can reject that. But what hadith you trying to keep bringing?
No.
Why are we diverting into that? We were talking about the beating of the wife and word daraba.
No, because
you say you're going to show me the word daraba means something
No, I
else.
didn't say I was
I
going
want
to
you
show
to show
you.
me.
I didn't say I was going to show you. I said there's no point because you reject Sahih hadiths. Now, if you reject Sahih hadiths, if you can reject Sahih, you can reject Sahih hadiths. What stops another Muslim from rejecting Sahih hadiths?
I'm just quoting you. Say obviously I'm not rejecting Sahih hadith.
No, but you said you.
What
can
I'm saying,
reject Sahih
anything
hadiths.
goes against the Quran.
Yeah. According to who? You.
According to the Quran.
No. Your interpretation.
The word daraba in the Quran. I show you what daraba means.
No, but you said that you can reject Sahih hadiths according to if they go against
We
the
talked
Quran.
about the word daraba. Yes?
No,
we were talking about the word daraba.
Well, you said you can reject hadith, Sahih hadiths,
Yeah, yeah.
if they go against the Quran.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who decides if they go against the Quran? You.
It's just you read the Quran and read the hadith.
Okay, so what if two Muslims got a different interpretation?
You are just saying a lot of ifs in
No.
your talk.
Muslims
There are
have
a lot of
different
ifs. Here.
interpretations.
Give me an example.
No, okay.
Give me an example.
Okay.
Which one?
Okay.
But then I'll answer.
Okay.
Give you my answer.
Okay.
Give me an example.
No.
Which one Muslims disagree on some particular point of the Quran, and they bring this hadith, and the other one bring that hadith. Give me an example. Then I'll give you my opinion.
No,
because there are a lot of ifs.
We're talking about a general point. I don't need to give you a specific point.
No, but you
But
are
the general
going
point.
on a lot of hypotheses, and I think it's not very clever.
Shall I
You're
clarify
talking
my
about
point for you?
hypotheses.
Because
Huh?
you might be missing my point. If you can reject Sahih, if a person can reject Sahih hadith, yeah, if a person can do it, yeah, if a Muslim can
And I do.
it, and you do,
I do,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, because
On what-
there are Sahih hadiths that are
Okay,
contradicting.
okay.
They both can't be correct.
And if another Muslim comes along and
I will talk to him and I'll give my reasons to him.
Okay.
Of course. And I
then
know
another
there are
Muslim
a lot
comes
of
along.
Muslims who says Sahih Bukhari, you cannot reject a single hadith. It's like, but I say, look,
You're
you
missing
are
my point.
treating
I don't
Sahih
know if you're
Bukhari
doing it
like a
deliberately.
Quran.
Are you missing my point deliberately? My
I'm
point
not.
is that if every single Muslim can choose which Sahih hadith to follow, then you haven't really got no basis for following any of these, because you could just reject whatever you want.
You know, what we know, that there are hadiths made up narrations.
Sahih.
Made up narrations by many people in the past. Sometimes by mistake, they made mistakes, or sometimes they are being very conniving. They deliberately try to give wrong message of the Islam, because when Islam spread, a lot of people became Muslim and they didn't like to be Muslim because they were living under a Muslim state. So they have some sort of a grudge. Some Jews become Muslims, some pagans become Muslim, so they have some sort of a grudge. So they become Muslim on the face, but they were not actually Muslim, and they spread words which were not from Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So there are a lot of, and they of course deceive scholars like great scholars. They didn't saw what was in their heart, but they thought they may be telling the truth. That's why the opinion of some scholars that this was possible and that happened. That's why there are many narrations. They are like I don't believe that Aisha was 9 when Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had sex with her. I don't believe in the hadith at all. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Not what you believe. That's an actual fact.
No, it's not a fact.
It is a fact.
Of course, not a fact.
It's in 5 separate Sahih.
It's only in the hadith.
It's in 5 separate Sahihs.
Yeah, but it's only 2.
It's in the Sirah.
But it's only like 2 different
It's in
chains.
the Sirah,
No,
though.
no. But yeah, they actually.
And it was quoted by Aisha herself.
Actually, there are more than 5.
Okay.
Actually, 8 or 9.
Okay.
But if you see all 8 or 9, look very closely. If you see, there's only 2 kind of chains. The same people in both chains. Hisham.
Hisham.
No, not Ishaq. Ishaq is Ibn Hisham is there. Urwa is there. They are almost in every hadith. They are there. So something going on there. These people over there, either they made a mistake, or either they deliberately. I wouldn't say Urwa. Urwa was a nephew of Aisha.
That was narrated by Aisha
He was
herself.
a nephew.
But
I would say
narrated by
I would
herself.
say Ibn Hisham probably is the one. Probably was a little bit dodgy narrated over there. So that's why I think it's only 2 different chains are coming. It's not like, look, imagine this hadith is only from Aisha.
It's only from Aisha.
No. Well, listen to me. If that marriage took place, Abu Bakr was a witness, Umar was a witness, Usman was a witness, everybody was a witness. Why is not coming even from Abu Huraira? Always coming from Aisha. Meaning they use the word of Aisha. Probably Aisha never said it. So they use her name and they exploited Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's reputation according to that. That's my opinion. Actually, there are some scholars, their opinions like
she was
that.
playing with dolls, so she was not an adult.
No, not according to Bukhari.
No, according
Don't
to
say that
Bukhari's
according to
hadith.
Bukhari. Bukhari collected it according to Ibn Hisham or the father of Ibn Hisham. It's from them coming. So
You reject that hadith?
I reject that hadith completely. Because there is one story.
Even though it was narrated by Aisha.
They said it's narrated by Aisha.
But Aisha herself.
We don't know if it's narrated by Aisha or not. Aisha wouldn't lie, of course, but they said it's coming from
Aisha
Aisha.
says it says narrated by Aisha.
No, they said Aisha said. Because they say come from Aisha, but then Ibn Hisham, Hisham's father and Hisham, and then go back. When the time of Bukhari, he heard from somebody, who heard from somebody, who heard from somebody, and they say Aisha said that. So that is the doubt is, did Aisha really said that? Why we didn't have the same story from Abu Bakr or Umar, Usman, Abu Huraira, Ibn Abbas? Why they never quote that?
We know that the Prophet went to Abu Bakr and asked for to marry Aisha.
That's again the same kind of chain of narrations. But you see, there's another story in what's it called? One of the earliest biographer of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Saad Ibn Asad. Ibn Asad, the one of the earliest biographers. You know his story of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and that actually negates the fact that Aisha could be 9 years old. He says that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was passing by, and the woman came to him, and she said, "You look very sad. What's happening?" He said, "Khadija has passed away, so I have young children at home not to look after. I have a responsibility of prophethood and to home to look after." She said, "Why don't you get married?" He said, "Do you have any in your opinion?" She said, "I have 2. One is virgin and one is widow." He said, "Who are they?" He said, "One is Sauda, widow one, and the virgin one is Aisha, your brother's daughter, Abu Bakr's daughter." He said, "Okay, you can go and ask them." So she went to Abu Bakr's house and she said, "Do you accept the hand to give your daughter to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam?" You know what he says? He said, "My daughter has been engaged with somebody else."